Local Legends is presented by Aaron Consulting. This is where high school sports shine. Real voices, real football, real stories. This is Local Legends.
The field is dwindling. It's dwindling. There's only 8 teams left in each division. There's only 4 left in the 8-player divisions. We don't have a lot of teams playing high school football anymore, Ash. It gets a little sad, but I'll tell you what, the game we've been counting down to all year, it didn't disappoint, man. It's so rare that these games live up to it. And Catholic Central and West Catholic lived up to it. 21-20 in overtime.
Rare, you say rare. It's been like that the last 3 years. They've been the games of the year here.
They have been. Yeah, last year for sure was, and then this year, you're right. Even the 1-2 years ago was, because you had the late Catholic Central touchdown with the holding, non-holding. Well, we had a similar situation here. Catholic Central scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter late, and this time the holding was called, and they backed them up. They ended up with a sack. Catholic Central West Catholic actually ended up with a really good field goal attempt to win the game in regulation, but they couldn't do it. This one goes to overtime. West Catholic scores first, kicks the extra point. Catholic Central scores, decides to go for 2, and West stops. And before we get to that, you told me, so Braden Sweeney got injured. He's the best player in that game. A game of really good players, right?
For sure. I think he's the best player. It sounds like he went out in the second quarter. Obviously, having a kid like that and losing him, obviously, on the defensive side of the ball is big. But he was starting to play a little bit more offense in different positions, at the fullback position, running back position. Obviously, he can always take snaps at the quarterback position. I know Catholic Central had an offensive lineman who went out in the first half as well. So they were kind of playing just a little bit, shorthanded. But again, credit to West Catholic, because these last 2 seasons, their season has ended against Catholic Central, and they found a way to win. And, it came down to a 2-point conversion. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. But, great job to Coach, to Landon and his staff, man.
Well, and it's not like West Catholic wasn't playing. They've been playing through injuries all year. They lost Aaron Record, one of their best players, I think, week 2. It was early. And they've been without him all season long with an ACL tear. Jack Franzik's another starter that they lost to a knee injury, a season-ending knee injury. So, West Catholic has had its share of injuries too, and you got to overcome that stuff this time of year. And that game, wow, just came right down to it. What a game. So, first of all, take me through that situation. And obviously, neither of us were at the game, but you've probably been in situations like this. Catholic Central sent the extra point team on the field after they scored in overtime. They call timeout. They come back and go for 2. What goes into that? Is this like a home away thing, momentum thing? How do you decide to go for 2 or kick the extra point?
Well, I think it starts with your week of preparation. So in your week of preparation, at some point in time, and some coaches are different, but we, at least at Northview, on Wednesdays, we're starting to think of what are our best 2-point plays when the game is on the line, and we got to have something, 1, to like tie the game, or 2, if you feel like you've got something really, really good to win the game, right? So I think you always have at least a menu. We try to carry 3 2-point plays going into the game. Some might only carry 1, but you got something. So it starts during the week. And based on the play that they ran, it's probably more or less something they saw in the West Catholic defense during the game, how they were lining up in short yardage. And so I think when Coach Kolster sent out his PAT team, he thought to himself, you know what? I think we got this play. There's a way that they're aligning on defense. We feel like we can take advantage of it. And so then I wasn't at the game to just kind of see and kind of feel it. But you think to yourself, you know what? If I can end this thing right now in this first overtime, I've got control of it, right? It's like that Lou Holtz mentality. If you got an opportunity to win the game, you might as well do it, right? And so, I think at the time, he probably felt really good about the play call, and I'm sure he still probably feels pretty good about the play call, because that's what they had prepped for the defense that they're going to be in.
Can we watch the 2-point conversion and just kind of talk through it a little bit, because this is
absolutely
fascinating to me. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring this up here. All right, here's the play. I'm going to play it. I'm going to rewind it here. You just kind of tell me what we see. What jumps out to you when you just look at this pre-snap right here?
Yeah, so pre-snap, it looks like Catholic Central's in what we would call an unbalanced formation. So you can see they got a guard and a tackle to the left. And really, if you were to split this, if you drew a line from the center on over, Catholic Central actually outnumbers West Catholic to that side, because to the left, they've got West Catholic 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 guys over there, and Catholic Central only has 1, 2, 2.5 guys to the left. You include the quarterback, that's 3.5 dudes to the left. So they're outnumbering them to the right. And it looks like, and I've already seen this play because you showed it to me a little bit ago, but they're going to run quarterback isolation, meaning the running back to his right is going to isolate on the linebacker. I believe that's number 40 right there. And he's going to be a one-on-one block there. They're going to block out with their tight end, and they're going to try to pick everybody up with their tackle and their guard right there. But it looks like, again, if you want to run it back one more time, somebody from the backside of West Catholic comes over the top across the formation and just makes an unbelievable play. And I think you know who that is. Who is that guy?
Yeah, that's Christian Patterson.
Where does he train?
No, well, Christian Patterson, I don't know. He's 44 that comes off the weak side here, but it's Cam Inbody that ended up making the play, 13, who was lined up like a safety. I mean, Cam Inbody's been a corner for them, but he's kind of lined up as like a safety there. And he comes crashing down in the hole and makes that play, 13 there for West Catholic.
You know, what I really like about that play from West Catholic's defense is, you know, a lot of people say, like, you got to tackle low. But when you're on the goal line, you don't want to tackle low. You have to tackle high. Like, you've got to be able to stop his forward momentum. And I know he kind of goes lower there, but you got to stop the guy in the hole. Looks like 44 gets an arm on him. But whoever makes that initial contact right there is toward the upper body, and he kind of slides down a little bit. That's how you stop plays at the goal line. You got to hit him high and make sure he can't, especially someone as big as Oden Spencer, can't fall forward right there.
Yeah, so it was Cam Inbody, who I got to him first and kind of got him at the waist area. He's our power strength guy. Great kid, Cam Inbody. He's really stepped up in the injuries for West Catholic and played so well for them as a receiver and on defense. And then Colin Abram, who's a stud junior inside linebacker, also got him kind of high there. What a play, man. I mean, just think about that. These guys will be able to talk about that play for the next 50 years.
Oh, the rest of their life. And especially the way that, you know, here in the city of Grand Rapids, I mean, everyone seems to have some sort of connection to Catholic Central or West Catholic, or they've got a friend, and it's like super family lineage of who's going where. And, you know, I mean, for those West Catholic kids, I mean, they're going to be able to talk about it, just like the Catholic Central kids from the last 2 years have been able to talk about their victory over West Catholic. Those are just such good games. I wish they would play every single year, man. I'm just throwing that out. Gotta happen.
Yeah, too good. It's week one. Make it happen. Week one. It's got to happen. So here's what's interesting to me. West Catholic just won the state championship, right? I mean, they did.
2 years ago?
I think Pontiac.
No.
Okay.
Well,
last night.
Pontiac Notre Dame. I mean, that's the team, because look at last year. Pontiac Notre Dame's the defending state champion. They've got their quarterback back at Pontiac Notre Dame. That's the same team, same Pontiac Notre Dame team that put a running clock on Catholic Central last year. Again, it was in week 2, and it's Oden Spencer's like second start or whatever. But they're led by a Hall of Fame coach in Pat Fox. That will be, in my opinion, outside of Division 4. I mean, that Division 5 state championship, because I think West Catholic has punched their ticket to Ford Field. Obviously, they got to win these games. I get all that. But, you know, you and I can say that. I mean, they punched their ticket to go to Ford Field. And they've got a date with a really good Pontiac Notre Dame team.
Correct, but they have to win 2 more games to get there. And that's my point in all this. Like, now they have to turn around next Friday probably and play Kalamazoo United at home. Like, don't sleep on Troy Ayat and Kalamazoo United. Like, this is a pretty solid squad. Like, West Catholic's going to have to play well. And, like, there's just human nature. Like, after a game like that, you're going to let down a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess. But, I mean, West Catholics, in my opinion, they're going to be favored, as you would like to say. They're going to be favorites in these next two.
It sounds like you're finally calling me out here, right? Like, they're just going to show up and win, right? There's not that big of a challenge. I'm making too much out of this.
I don't know. You've seen them more than I have, but I think, I mean, those two teams, Catholic Central and West Catholic, are playing at such a high level. I would be shocked to see them, to see West Catholic not in Ford Field this year.
As would I.
But I've been wrong before. I mean, there were upsets last night.
It's interesting when you look at the Catholic Central side of things. A really good senior class, a really good sophomore class next year. I mean, they're going to have a bunch of juniors next year who played a lot of football. But as you know, you lean on seniors. They don't have a ton of football kids in that junior class, so they always figure it out. Hey, listen, I'm not bringing this up. Listen, everybody on Catholic Central should be proud. Okay, they're a really good football team. This is the first team that hasn't won a regional championship in a decade at Catholic Central. And I only bring that up to recognize how unbelievable it was that they did that. I mean, can you imagine getting to at least the semifinals every year for 10 straight years?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And it's organizationally what they have done at Catholic Central to put that in place, because it hasn't always been like that. It's just been here in the Todd Colster era, right? I mean, and I think he demands things organizationally, and when I say organizational, from the top, from the president all the way down to their freshman football team. I mean, there are expectations, and they are being met, and he doesn't bend on anything. So again, yeah, they should be very proud. It's hard to fathom that it's been 10 years since they haven't won a district championship or a regional championship, whatever it may be. I mean, that truly is an unbelievable run. And I think, we're living in that era of man, we're seeing something really, really special out of Catholic Central, and they're not slowing down anytime soon, in my opinion.
They certainly are not. They certainly are not. All right, let's move on, because you were at the D2 district final last night. Listen, this show was about Catholic Central and West Catholic, but it's really about how bad I am at this, because I got everything wrong last night. Portage Central Byron Center, you were on the call with Brett Makita, 96 won the game. I just needed to see it from Portage Central. I realized they had steamrolled everybody. In my opinion, they had not played a good team before last night, and they steamrolled Byron Center. I mean, any other way to put it?
No, there's no other way to put it. And I was in the same boat as you. I picked Byron Center before the game just because I've seen Byron Center. I've coached against Byron Center. I believe in Coach Cisco. But, man, and I did the game with Brett Makita on the radio. And when we walked out, we got there at about 6 o'clock or something like that. And we're walking out there, and Makita literally, Brett, he stopped in his tracks. He literally stopped in his tracks, and he goes, Ash, look at this Portage Central team. And I was kind of looking at, where's their locker room at? Where's, I just like to see different things like that. And he literally stepped, he's like, look at that. And we're looking, and they're warming up without their shirts. I shouldn't say never. It has been a very long time since I have seen a team like that just off the hoof. They didn't have their shoulder pads on. They're just out there warming up, kind of throwing footballs around. I'm like, who is that kid? Who is that kid? Who is that kid? I mean, they had not 5 good-looking kids. They had 25 good-looking kids. And I was like, holy cow. But then I'm still talking to Makita. I'm like, hey, I still think Byron Center, man, is going to be tough to stop. Man, they're going to be tough to stop. They're rolling 6 straight wins or whatever. And from the opening kickoff, Byron Center got the football, and they drove down. They did a nice job. They drove about 30, 35 yards or so. And it was the story of the Gillett kid from Portage Central who's committed to Minnesota, and Cam, what's Cam's last name?
No.
The running back from Byron
Campaign. Sorry.
Campaign. I'm sorry. I keep on saying Cam Ward, right? Cam Ward. But Campaign. That was our kind of key to the figure. It's Gillick versus Payne, and it was 4th and 1 on the opening series. They went Wildcat, and it was Payne versus Gillick, and it was a collision in the hole, and it was stopped for no gain. Portage Central got the ball, and they just drove right down the field in like 6 or 7 plays and scored all on the run. And then they stopped Byron Center again, and it felt like it was 20-0 before you could even settle in.
So, hey, real quick, I'm in the press box at Hope College. I'm getting ready for the Hope Calvin football game, the big rivalry game here tonight at Rand Smith Stadium. So I'm in the press box. Alan Babbitt's the sports information director at Hope, just walked by. Stubenveld is the athletic director, just walked by. So a lot going on for me here. But, we're watching, as we tape this, we're watching East Kentwood and Howell. EK's up 49-34 here with about 5 minutes to go. So it looks like the Falcons are going to move on, and we're going to get to Division I in a minute. I want to stay on this D2 thing, though. We're talking about Portage Central. So you talk about Charlie Gillick, their outstanding linebacker, I think plays tight end as well, who was committed to UCF, now committed to Minnesota. But tell me about the other guys from Portage Central, because I've heard everything about Cam Noe, who's a sophomore, right? And how about Riley McNally, their quarterback? Who else jumped out to you for PC?
So they had a kid named Noah Bloomquist, who also played slot and receiver and also played free safety. The kid was all over the football field. All from his free safety spot, could make every single tackle. When he got the ball in his hands on offense, it was truly unbelievable. But you talk about Cam Noe, their fullback, man, they're a triple option team, so he might get it, might not get it. But they ran a lot of the belly series where you pull the front side guard and kick out the end man in the line of scrimmage, and he could just kind of find a hole to go to. He was as good as advertised. He's got about half a dozen Division I offers already as a sophomore. Also plays a little bit on defense as well. What stood out to me was the amount of big kids they had up front. They had an offensive lineman committed to Grand Valley, and it was every single play. His push was 7 to 10 yards down the field, and that is no joke. And Coach Cisco can vouch for that. I mean, it was really, really fun to see. I mean, he's not going to say it was fun to see, but like it was incredible. Some of these other guys, their quarterback, who's a pitcher on their baseball team, I believe, if he's not a college prospect, he's a major league prospect. You could see him warming up in the zip he had on the football. He ran. I mean, he had a 55-yard touchdown run that was unbelievable. He just ran triple option to the right, fake pitched it, stuck his foot in the ground, got vertical, and just weaved through that Byron Center secondary. And it's not like Byron Center's a slow football team. He ran right by him. I mean, it was really, really a sight to see with some of these other guys. So they got the Bloomquist kid. They've got the Noe kid. Obviously, the Gillett kid that everybody talks about, and McNally. They've got weapons, and they just fly to the football on defense. They run just like Coach Henders said in this podcast, they run a super unique defensive structure. And, I mean, it was unique, and it was really, really good. So, I mean, credit to them. Portage Central is a legitimate Division II contender.
Well, that's you brought it up when Coach Enders was on with us a few weeks ago, and I thought it was a really good question. You know, do you look at beating those Grand Rapids teams as a hurdle? Something because Portage Central had never beaten an OK Conference school in the playoffs.
Yeah, he owned it. Yeah, he owned it.
So now they've got past that hurdle, and there are no more OK Conference schools alive in Division II, because we'll get to Muskegon in a minute. Portage Central is going to host Traverse City Central. I'm going to guess that's going to be a Saturday game because it's so far for Traverse City Central. Maybe it'll be Friday. I don't know. Portage Central is going to be a big favorite in that one. And then probably Orchard Lake St. Mary in the state semifinal game. But PC's they're the team to beat Division II, right? Or is it still St. Mary's?
No, it's Portage Central. I mean, they're the number one ranked team in Division II, and I get St. Mary's is the champ until somebody beats them. But there's if someone has seen Portage Central live and in person, they're the favorites to win Division II. Obviously, Dexter is still out there, and Dexter's a really good team. They've got a bunch of really good players as well. Great head football coach Phil Jacobs. I've referenced them a number of times here on the podcast. But Portage Central, I mean, it's Portage Central, and everybody's playing to beat them. For sure.
All right, quick update on East Kent. What Howell has scored to make it 49-41 with 4 minutes to go. If this gets interesting late, we'll pull it up. We'll pull it up, and you and I will watch it. We'll watch the end right here on the podcast. If Howell gets it back and gets a chance. But right now, Kentwood's going to receive a kick. There's about 4 minutes to go, up 8. So Muskegon loses to Traverse City Central. I did not see this coming. Muskegon is so good on offense. Outside of having the Cincinnati Moeller roster, like, I don't know how you hold Muskegon to 14, right? Like, I mean, Moeller was unbelievable. I mean, they got so many college kids on that defense. And maybe that's what Traverse City Central has. I don't know. I'd be surprised they were 5-4. And gotten it in at 5-4 to 16-13, and so Muskegon's out, and I'm shocked.
I'm shocked because I thought that they were state championship worthy. I mean, like they were in that conversation. So obviously, I mean, credit to Coach Eric Sugars, and whose dad, Jack Sugars, longtime head football coach at Muskegon Oak Ridge, won a ton of games there, a couple state championships as well, 2 or 3. But obviously, they did something well defensively. I don't know if Muskegon turned the ball over, but I thought that was the upset of the night for sure. Obviously, I think West Catholic beating was a little bit of an upset, but I don't think there's anybody in the state of Michigan that was giving Traverse City Central a shot at winning last night against Muskegon, and they got it done. And their reward is going to travel to Portage to play Portage Central, and maybe I should be giving Traverse City Central more credit, but that's a tall task awaiting Traverse City Central. But I was really looking forward, and I called it on the radio last night. I thought it was going to be a great game between Muskegon and Portage Central. That's what I was sort of looking forward next week. And then we heard that Traverse City Central won, and we were just shocked.
All right, I want to get a quick take from you on the OK Green, because if you remember back to week 1, our big talking point was they went 0-6. Remember, the OK Green Conference did not win a game in week 1. And I was kidding, because I really believe in that league. And I knew that was just, well, they played a bunch of good teams, didn't have great nights, whatever. I mean, I know you played Forest Hills Northern week 9. We're super impressed with them. And that's a team that went 4-5 in that league and didn't make the playoffs. But the OK Green does not have a district champion. I would call this a disappointing season for the OK Green. I'm really surprised that we don't have an OK Green team still standing.
Yeah, because you just look at the blue blood programs in there between Muskegon, Mona Shores, Byron Center, Forest Hills, Northern. To me, it's shocking that they don't have a district champion. But obviously, some of these other teams have really stepped it up here in the playoffs and are playing some really good football. But that to me is surprising for sure. But again, and a lot of them have beaten each other to get out. So,
all right, we do have Rod Oden, head coach of Harper Woods. Pioneers are 11-0, and we'll play for regional title against Divine Child Division 4 next week. We have him coming up. First, I want to remind you that this podcast is presented by Aaron Consulting. Since 2020, Aaron Consulting has helped to support high school programs, coaches, and families navigate the turbulent waters of the college athletic recruiting process. With over 20 years in the recruiting space, Aaron Consulting is expertly positioned to provide guidance on the best practices to ensure coaches are educated and families know what to do and when. Contact getaaron.com today to schedule a free consultation or by scanning the QR code on your screen to discuss how Aaron can support you this school year. Use the code LOCALLEGENDS at checkout for 10% off your Aaron membership. All right, so real quick, other things that jumped out to us from last night. Harper Woods, in Division 4, Harper Woods obviously rolled. Unity Christian beat Spring Lake. Anything in Division 4? It was 34-19?
Yeah, something like that. I think it was 32-19, something like that. I mean, kind of a tight game. In Division 4, no, not necessarily. I don't think so. I think I think there's a very interesting Division 3 matchup coming up here between East Grand Rapids beating a good Coopersville team who I thought was doing really well. But I think Division 3 here in West Michigan, I think there's some really good football games coming up here between Zeeland West, right, and Lowell next week, and then East Grand Rapids and Mount Pleasant. That is a storyline for sure.
Yeah, I keep wondering if we're going to get this East Grand Rapids Lowell rematch because obviously they played in week 1 and Lowell won 40-7. And I continue to rank East Grand Rapids higher than Lowell, which doesn't make any sense unless you watch them. Like, watch East Grand Rapids. That's all I can tell you. Watch them. They held Coopersville to 0. Like, 0. Really good on defense. But Mount Pleasant, you've been raving about Mount Pleasant all year. And what do you think of this Lowell-Zeeland West matchup?
I know. So I'll start with the Lowell-Zeeland West matchup. And I haven't seen Zeeland West play in person, but Brett Makita has. And he kept on telling me, Zeeland West. They're jumping between the T offense to the single wing, doing some shotgun stuff, trying to diversify the offense a little bit. I know they've got a really good running back in the Holman kid, so I think he's very dynamic. But the game's being played at Lowell, right? And Lowell is traditionally, they slow down that track to play off the grass just a little bit longer, right? And it's going to be just a little bit tougher than on Friday night. It's going to be hard to bet against Lowell, in my opinion. I think that they're a good football team, and they're the lone RCA team left standing. Yes, they're the lone RCA team left standing, and I know they didn't win the RCA, but I think they're kind of battle tested from their time their schedule in the RCA, and I think they've done a really good job. I really like Lowell in that matchup, but I think Zeeland West does continue to surprise me throughout the year. Because there's been some ups and downs of the Zeeland West team, and plus without Coach Shillito and his expertise, I think that makes it kind of hard. But yeah, again, I like Lowell in that one. If I go to the Mount Pleasant Grand Rapids matchup, that feels like we're back in like 2005 or 6 or 7, right? I mean, we saw those matchups with Coach Sturzma and Coach McIntyre back in the day in some of those matchups. Now, what Coach McIntyre at Mount Pleasant does really well is they're able to jump in the I formation to spread no backs like in the click of a finger. And so I think they're gonna present a little bit more of an issue to East Grand Rapids, but nobody's playing better defense than East Grand Rapids. Wow. Other than Portage Central. East Grand Rapids' defense has been totally lights out. So it's going to be a tough matchup, and I think it's going to be very low scoring at Mount Pleasant.
All right, real quick before we get to Rod Oden, and we'll do D1 after Coach Oden's interview. D6. I mean, Kent City. You got to give Zach Groff a ton of credit. You talk about defenses playing well. I mean, they've been really good all year. They go to Rudness Field and beat Belding 24-16. Belding returned the opening kick for a touchdown. Okay, so the Belding got half their points on the opening kickoff. That's not against the Kent City defense. Kent City gets a safety to get their first 2 of the game, and they hold Belding to 8 total points the rest of the game, win 24-16. That's a huge win for Kent City, baby.
Oh, think about that. So think about your high school self or Brent Cummings' high school self. If someone said, hey, in 30 years, Kent City's going to come into Rudness Field and get a victory. Would you ever think you'd see that?
I would not. I would not think I would see that, but
Ever.
that's the beauty of this thing, right?
I love it. That's crazy. I mean, kudos to them. I mean, the program that they've built at Kent City it's unbelievable.
So they're getting Montrose or Durand. That game is probably close to final right now. And they're going to be home. That's the thing we talk about with Kent City. They went undefeated. They did not get up. They were the 3 seed in their district. They won the district, and they're home. So even if they're playing Montrose, who's the 1 seed in the other district, Kent City will host. So they're getting their home game as the undefeated team. So you almost feel like, I mean, they deserve to get more than one, right? But at least they're getting one now. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. All right, let's go to Coach Rod Oden, then head coach at Harper Woods. We've had him ranked one of our top 3 teams all year. They have 2 huge D1 wins. Coach Rod Oden at Harper Woods. We'll come back and we'll talk D1 after talking with Coach Rod Oden. Coach, thanks so much for being here. Man, what a season you guys are having. Undefeated. You beat 2 Division I top-ranked teams. You won a district championship just last night. Just put into words for us what this season has been like for you guys.
It's been a hell of a ride, man. Very young football team we have here at Harper Woods. Only 9 seniors. This was supposed to be the rebuild. But, our guys decided our time is now. So they stepped up to the plate and were able to pull out some really, really tough wins. So it's been an amazing ride, kind of a roller coaster, but we've been handling it pretty well thus far.
So, Coach, I got to admit, sometimes I'm fanboy 101, and I've been a fan of yours for a very long time, since your Crockett days. When you were the head coach at Crockett, I was playing at Wayne State from 02 to 06, so I knew who you were, and I loved the work that you did at East English Village. Now you're at Harper Woods, man. Can you just kind of walk us through your background? I know you went to Michigan. I think you're a graduate of Detroit Northwestern. Yeah. Man, can you just what brought you to where you are today?
Well, I went to high school at Detroit Northwestern, played football, of course, where my coaching mentor is our current superintendent here at Harper Woods. He's a football coach. After Northwestern, I was at the University of Michigan, where I walked on to the football team, early 90s, and played 2 years at U of M. Graduated from U of M, began my teaching career at Crockett High School, where at the time, our superintendent, my mentor, was the football head coach. In 2005, he went into administration, and I was his successor. I became the head coach at 27 years old at Crockett High School. Had some really, really great teams at Crockett. DPS closed the doors of Crockett in 2012 and opened East English Village, which was a combination of 3 schools, Finney High School, Kettering High School, and Crockett High School, under one roof. I ran that program for 5 years as the head coach. And then my mentor, our superintendent, became the superintendent in 2018 at Harper Woods. He pulled up at a practice and said, it's time to go. And we were able to work things out. He offered me a position in administration because I'm also the assistant principal here, which took me out the classroom, but allowed me to still coach ball. DPS doesn't allow coaches to administrate, which is why they're losing a lot of great quality coaches right now. So I've been at Harper Woods. This is my 8th season here. Of course, in 23, we were able to win state. That was great because my son was a senior captain on that team. So that's kind of like my background and how I got to where I'm at. So I'm kind of loving what I'm doing, and I don't feel like I go to work every day.
That's awesome. So you played at Michigan in the 90s. So you played for Bo. Tell us what it was like playing for Bo Schembeck.
Well, I didn't play for Bo. I played for Lloyd Carr originally. Gary Moeller was the head coach my freshman year.
Gary Moeller.
Right. And then Carr became the head coach my sophomore year. I was able to play for those guys. And that experience was great. It taught me more about hard work and how to prepare mainly. And a lot of the things I learned there, I transitioned and I still use in our program here today. A lot of the preparation and the off-season stuff is kind of what propels us right now.
So did you see Lloyd at the Saline game? Was he there?
He was there. I didn't see him, but in talking to several of the guys before the game, I knew he would be there. And I get to see him. I think that I usually see him like once a year at the Chad Tuff Gala. We go every year, of course. You know, Jason was a teammate of mine. Our kids were both seniors together in 24, played some 707 travel ball together. And then, of course, getting to see the younger car do his thing, and he's amazing.
So speaking of quarterbacks, you know, for those that are still subscribing to the Detroit Free Press, like myself, but I knew this before, but you've got a pretty good quarterback yourself right now, and he's got a very interesting story. Have you ever coached a Canadian football player other than your current quarterback right here?
I have not. And Nate kind of almost fell in my lap. His coach in Canada, his youth coach, was one of my former players. And so he would say, Coach, I got a kid. You need to check him out. I would go over to Canada, the University of Windsor is where they played their youth football games, and just watch him. Wasn't trying to bring him to the States or anything like that, but COVID hit. And during COVID, if most people don't know, Canada didn't have a COVID season. Canada didn't play football for 3 years.
Oh.
Yes, they didn't play. And Nate and his parents were concerned that he wasn't going to get an opportunity to play high school ball. So they developed all of these little like club teams that somebody would finance, and they would just travel around Canada playing each other over and over and over. So 19, 20, 21, and 22, Canada didn't have high school football. So he was going into his freshman year when his parents essentially, they run a business here, so they just moved him to the States. But from home in Windsor, it is a 19-minute commute to our school. So it's not like he's traveling a great distance. He's just going over a bridge. So that's kind of how our relationship started with Nate. And bringing him over here, you know, was a true blessing for us. He's been a game changer for us ever since.
Well, we saw him as a sophomore when you won the state championship. Right now he's a senior. Is that right? Do I have that right? And
yes, he's a senior right now.
How has he developed? Because I thought he was really good as a sophomore.
He's developed tremendously. He's like having a coach on the field out there, man. He gets us in and out of tough situations, and he is one of the primary reasons that we are having the success we're having. His development has been off the charts.
So tell us a little bit about I've heard about the quarterback here, but you've got a really special wide receiver who you coined. He's one of one in this country. He's not the best player in the state of Michigan. He might be the best football player in the country. And we threw against you guys in 7-on-7 at the University of Michigan. I think you could have thrown it to him every single time, and we could have been 30 yards off the ball, and he was going to run by our dudes. Tell us a little bit about your receiver, Dakota Grant.
Dakota's he's like family. His dad and I are high school teammates and godbrothers. Our parents, his mom is my godmother, and my mom is his as well. So I've known him since the womb. He's a football coach's kid, true and through. You know, he's been playing the game for a very long time at a very high level. He was a quarterback by trade in youth football. But we knew in coming to high school, we had Nate, and we also had another quarterback at the time, our original starter, Stefan. He wanted to get on the field as a freshman, so he transitioned to wide receiver. And because Jacob and a few other receivers were drawing double coverage, the freshman had a great freshman year. And ever since that season, he's been dedicated and committed to working on his speed and his body. And he's transitioned himself into a elite level talent. He's equally as good on the defensive side of the ball. So he plays in passing situations as a safety, but as a wide receiver, he's an elite route runner. He studies the game like a coach. And to me, on Friday nights right now, he's playing the game in slow motion.
He's got just about every offer you can imagine, right? Auburn, Alabama, Texas A&M, Oregon. I mean, everybody wants him because he's that good. You talked about your quarterback, Nate Rochlow, who's also outstanding. Those are your two headline guys. But like you said, you got so many guys. You wouldn't have beat the teams you did. You're a young football. Tell us about some of the other guys besides those two big headliners that have made your team go.
Well, most of the other guys are sophomores. Like the offensive line is a freshman, 3 sophomores, and a senior. So some of the other guys is like we have a defensive end, Jeremiah McCall, who's going to be elite. He's a clone of a kid I coached about 20 years ago, Brandon Graham. So he's going to be a high-level player in the next year or so. Our free safety, Jaden Evans, is 6'3". He's a sophomore too. He's a ball hawk. He's got 5 or 7 Big Ten offers right now, including Ohio State and Michigan. So those guys are really playing their best football every Friday night, and it's really helping us transition along the way. But the greatest thing about this team is they're egoless. They don't really care who gets the credit. They play well together. And the brotherhood and camaraderie that they've created is second to none in the teams that I've had.
So let's go back a little bit, like when in the 90s or, so I'm 41 years old. So my kind of like my history of high school football, it was like sort of like thinking about the 80s, living through the 90s, going through the 2000s. And in my opinion, and if someone doesn't steal my idea first, I'm going to write a book about the city of Detroit, because the city of Detroit has produced more NFL football players than any other city in the country, right? But Detroit, when you were a kid, it was a basketball town, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
and so there is something that happened in your era of adulthood and coaching, and you're in my opinion, you're one of the forefront dudes that has changed the city of Detroit from a basketball town to a football town. How did that happen? Because it's like, and Jason will tell you, back in the day, the West Michigan, like they were able to win Division I state championships. They were able to win Division II. Now, outside of maybe a Muskegon here or there, I mean, it's just like kind of a goal for a West Side team to get to the finals in the upper echelon divisions. What has changed, in your opinion, in these last 20 years, 30 years?
Sound mind, sound body. Football Academy. It made football year-round. Football is no longer seasonal, and that's why there are so many great players. They spend from December to May. Sound mind, sound body is helping us develop athletes that don't play basketball or winter sport. Those guys that just play football, that's sitting around for 6 months after the season, are now on the weekends. They're training. They're doing speed camps. They're working on skill development. And they're doing it all collectively. So when you mention like Nate Rochlow, Dakota Garant, Corey Sadler, I looked at the Mr. Football race. 9 of those guys in the top 10 played on the same 7-on-7 team every offseason. So they're very familiar with each other. And it's like iron sharpening iron. You get to compete every weekend in drills, in competitions with some of the state's best. And ultimately, everybody in the area is benefiting. So I think, and that started about 20 years ago. We started Sound Mind, Sound Body in 2004, and it's been growing ever since, from Sauce Gardner and all of those guys, just training in the off season and developing collectively as a group. 3 years ago, when I have photographs of Corey Sadler with Dakota Garant next, and the quarterback is Bryce Underwood. You know what I'm saying? So all of this stuff kind of came full circle in the last 20 years.
So tell me, in you seeing this transformation, the Sound Mind, Sound Body, football becoming year-round, what positive impacts have you seen? Obviously, the scholarships, right? That's got to be one. But how has that impacted kids positively, in your opinion?
It gained maximum exposure. It allowed the people outside of the Midwest and Michigan to be able to evaluate our kids. When I was in high school, if Michigan and Michigan State didn't want you, you didn't think you was that great of a player. Now you are able to directly communicate and contact coaches outside of our region. And these kids have a larger platform in which to display their talent. We didn't have all the social media and things like that back then. But I think the platforms that they have developed for these young guys makes it really, really easy for them to contact coaches universally. And I think that gains opportunities for those that may get looked over or looked past by Michigan or Michigan State or Eastern Michigan Now you got kids all on the West Coast and everywhere else because they're able to share that film and that information with these guys in the blink of an eye.
So how hard is it when you're looking to build your roster? I mean, your setup at Harper Woods is not too different than us at Grand Rapids Northview. We get a lot of kids that are school of choice kids, right? They're hey, I might live in the city of Grand Rapids, or I might even live in Rockford or whatever. And parents are smart, right? And they want what's best for their kids. What are you doing at Harper Woods other than winning, right? I get, you're winning as well. It's not like you've won every single game. But what are you doing to attract kids to say, you know what, man, Harper Woods is a destination place for you?
We're creating a wide platform. We're combining academics with athletics. We have programs here at our school that are not offered in most schools. We have vocational programs. We have a vocational school. So you can come to Harper Woods and you can dual enroll. You can be on the collegiate track, or you can go into a trade or skills program. So we're trying to attract not just the best athletes, but anybody that wants an opportunity to be a welder or to go into cybersecurity or to go into culinary arts. You can do all of that stuff here at Harper Woods. So we're trying to create a well-rounded opportunity for these kids to figure out what they want to do next. The kids come here mainly if they want to play football, but what keeps them here is the other programs that we have around here. So they kind of find themselves while they're here, and I think that's a little bit different than what they would get at most traditional high schools.
I love that. That's so cool. And I think about that because I'm a father of 3. My oldest is 14. So I'm 3 years away from figuring out what's next after high school. And this is what you hear when people talk to kids that are about ready to graduate high school. Where are you going to go to college? Everybody says that. Like, why is that a prerequisite? Why does everybody have to go? College has gotten so expensive, and I'm trying to figure out how am I going to pay for college? So I'm like, I'm trying to get my kids interested in the trades. So, like, is that like a thing in your area? Like, does everyone expected to go to college? Because I don't think that should be the way it is. Like, you don't have to go to college to be successful, in my opinion.
That's the way it is in the area. Our superintendent and his vision, he understands that everybody's not going to college. So a lot of these kids are on the trade school track or on a different platform. You can come here and they will pay for you to get your real estate license. So you'll graduate with a diploma and a real estate license or a cosmetology certificate. You can go, do hair, cut hair. He understands that everybody's not going off directly to a 4-year university. So he partnered with Wayne County Community College. You can get an associate's degree through this place. So he understands and has a bigger picture. And he's definitely a visionary in that regard. So that's our driving force, is to allow kids to figure out what they want to do next while they're here.
I just love that, man. When I think, I think to the east side of the state, those schools, like what has happened at River Rouge. I love that story. What's happening at Roseville with Snowden, man. I love that story. And obviously and I'm going to give you credit. So my dad went to Harper Woods, Notre Dame, down the street. It's been closed now for 20 years or whatever. Right. But so we knew the Harper Woods area. My dad grew up on 7 Mile and Gratiot, so he's an east side of Detroit guy. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you guys have saved that school. There was like 200 kids at Harper Woods at one point in time, and now the enrollment is up to 800. I mean, to me, I love that story. Some people on the west side will say, well, they're just recruiting this, recruiting that. And I've just said, no, they're giving kids opportunities. And there's only going to be, 35, 40 football players on the varsity football team. We're talking about 700 other kids that are deciding, you know what? Harper Woods is the place to me, man. So kudos to you guys, man. I absolutely love that.
Exactly. When we got here, we had a little over 300 students. And our middle school was actually housed inside the high school. So we're kind of busting at the seams now. The middle school, they had to open a new building, and they have 400 students in that building now. And we have a little under 800 here. But you're absolutely correct. We are providing an opportunity for some of the football players, but we also understand that we're all fishing out the same pond. If you can throw a rock to 7 other high schools from here, in a 3-mile radius, there are 6 high schools surrounding us. So a lot of these kids were going to Grosse Pointe South or Grosse Pointe North, or East English Village is 2 miles away. or East Point High School is 1.7 miles away. Chandler Park, which was Notre Dame, we played them last night. A fence divides us. You know, the baseball outfield fence is the divider. So a lot of the kids that are quote unquote being recruited or coming here already live in this area. They're just choosing which of the 6 high schools they're going to.
So tell us a little bit about that Chandler Park game. Obviously, you won the game handily because, I mean, you guys have a really good team. But is that a fence divides you? I mean, how does that play into you playing them on a Friday night in a playoff game?
It's really, it was fun. You know, the kids all grew up together. They all go to the same middle schools. So it was a refreshing opportunity for them to compete against each other. But it got a bit overwhelming last night. You know, they are up and coming and they're building their program and they're doing it. Coach Baker's doing a great job. So it was a great, hard-fought battle last night. The scoreboard don't reflect how hard their kids played, but they did put up a formidable fight. It's great. It's actually a big recruiting tool, I guess, to understand that we have all these programs and we have winning football. So I know the 2 superintendents were here both smiling, but it was a fun night last night.
So, Coach, we got 3 rounds left in the playoffs, right? And next week you're going to play Divine Child, correct?
Yes.
And then potentially last year, Goodrich was the team that knocked you out of the playoffs. And obviously that's been a sight. But this Divine Child team, I mean, they're not lacking press. I mean, I read the story early on of the Italian Mafia where the Detroit superintendent hits his kids, who's the superintendent of the city of Detroit. His kids go to Dearborn Divine Child, and I get why. I mean, that's where he went, and they've got some really good football players. Tell us a little bit about your path to winning and bringing home another wooden mitten.
Well, it's gonna be tough. These next 3 weeks, everybody that's left can really play. They have a very, very good football team. We've gotten to see them play a few times this year. They are led by the VD clan. It's 3 of them, and they're number 1, 2, and 3. And, you know, they are dynamic playmakers. But ironically, they played in the same youth league in 707 off season as these other guys. So we're very familiar with them guys. They've done a great job over there. It will be fun. Last year's contest was a game, and we kind of broke it open in the second half. But we know we'll get their best. They've been kind of following us all year, and we know it'll be a great contest. And then we're looking at potentially a rematch 3rd year in a row with Goodrich potentially, but a very, very good Williamston team is in there. And, you know, that's going to be a battle in that other regional over there as well. So we know that on this side of the state, you know, we're going to all have to fight it out, and whoever comes out will be more than ready to compete against Unity Christian Portland or whoever comes out of that side. Those teams are really, really good too.
So looking at your head coaching record, you know, at your 3 different schools, I think 172 wins in 21 years, like ton of success. I don't think you'd ever had a 9-0 regular season, had you, before this year? I mean,
I've had one. I think it was like 2011 or 12 at Crockett, actually. But yeah, it was a while ago. But 9-0 is extremely hard to do, especially when you play the schedule that we had to play.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
you look at it as 9 one-week seasons. We have tunnel vision over here. But yeah, that's really hard to do, and that was a tremendous feat for us because to beat those teams, we had to do it all on the road.
Well, that's my question. Like, you're going to Saline and winning, right? You're beating Clarkston. Like, how do you get these guys excited to play these Division IV schools that barely snuck in the playoffs the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, we're trying to prove to the state that football is divisionless. If you can play, you can kind of play. You know, yeah, you're outmatched sometimes because some of these schools have 2,000 and 3,000 kids, and you're just outnumbered. Luckily, this year we've been able to avoid the injury bug, knock on wood, because that, you know, you kind of lose some guys going toe-to-toe with bigger schools every week. But we've been able to kind of sustain that. But our guys wanted an opportunity to increase their platform, and to do that, we had to play some larger schools. Because the gift and the curse is we're good, and schools our size don't want to play us. So we have to find games versus teams that will play us. And Clarkston's not coming down to Harper Woods to play in this little bitty stadium. They see more people in practice than we can sit in that thing. So we have to go on the road a little bit. So we kind of just prepare them all off season for these environments we will get in on the road.
I love that. And I don't think people necessarily really understand the challenges at Harper Woods scheduling. You guys sit in the north east corner of Wayne County, yet
Yes.
you play in the Oakland Athletic Conference.
Right.
Talk to us about why won't the Macomb County schools let you in? Like they let in the Grosse Points of the world, right? I mean, I don't want to open up if we can, but I've been very vocal about that because I'm like, you let in Grosse Point. They say, well, we're not going to let in Harper Woods because they're in Wayne County. I'm like, well, so's Grosse Point North and South.
And several other schools, East Point down the street, South Lake is here. They wouldn't let us in. They said we wasn't in Macomb County.
Right. And so you guys have to travel over to Oakland County.
We had to travel over to Oakland County. And I know and the great thing about the OAA, and I think it's the best conference in Michigan to me, is they have vision. Yeah. They let in the Waterford schools are now in out of the KLA, so they're expanding and casting a wider net, and I think we're going to draw some really, really good football teams or just programs in general from other sports. But going to Oakland County, we looked at it more logistically. Can I get from Harper Woods to Southfield or Oak Park or Ferndale in under an hour? Because if you're in Oakland County and Clarkston plays Royal Oak, that's a 90-minute, 2-hour commute. Mm-hmm. So is the counties important, or is it parents don't have to travel as far? And you can get more, you can get more people to come see you play if you're just 30 minutes down the road. So luckily they were able to see that vision. They let us in. We love being here, and we're looking forward to the other teams that'll be added in the near future. I know we're working right now. In 27, we're adding Novi and Northfield. So, yeah, they're coming in 27. So it's going to be very, very interesting around here.
So, all right. So we talked a lot about your schedule because it's fascinating to me. I mean, you played such a good schedule. We talk about Saline and Clarkston. I mean, you had to stop a late 2-point conversion to beat Stony Creek. You played Groves. You had Mason in a battle in week 9. Who would you say is the best team you've played this year?
It's tough because Clarkston and Saline, to me, are my two favorites to duel it out for the state championship. Both are extremely well balanced. I would say at this point in the year, Clarkston, only because Saline has suffered 3 or 4 catastrophic injuries. I think they lost the tailback for the season the week we played them. They lost the DB for the year the week we could see it on the film in prep the week before we played them. So they've had some season-ending injuries over there, but they have depth and they have a great coaching staff. But that Clarkston team is rolling right now, and they're going to be hard to beat. It's a really, really good matchup in Division I this week with, Clarkston having to play and CC having to play Clarkston and Saline having to play Cass. Those are going to be some great games.
So tell us a little bit about Division I on the east side of the state. You talked about Saline, you talked about Clarkston, but we've talked about our 1 and 2. So our 1 and 2 and 3 and kind of our rankings have been, it might be Cass Tech one week or Detroit Catholic Central the other week, and you guys number 3. Tell us a little bit what you know about Cass Tech and Catholic Central.
Cass Tech is loaded. They have no weaknesses. The same team that won the state championship, they returned like 18 starters off their team. So they're right back at it. I think they need to get it done this year. They'll take, I ain't going to say a step back, but they're going to have to do some coaching next year. Right now, it's kind of on autopilot. So they're really, really tough. They're deep. They're huge up front. They're physical. They're aggressive. They're fast. They're going to be a tough challenge. But CC in the last 2 years is the best high school team I've seen. And I know because we played them last year, and we couldn't do nothing with them guys. I think they have a great team going again this year. So when it gets down to the regionals, whoever comes out of Division I, and that's with us included, should be probably ranked number 1. Those guys are really the Elite 8 round right here.
Mm-hmm.
All 8 teams, all 8 of them are capable of winning, especially the 4 off of this side over here.
Well, don't worry. From here on out, you're my number 1. I got Harper Woods.
I appreciate it.
Those other are 2 and 3, man.
I'm hoping that Saline beats Cass so I can brag about being the number 1 team in Southeast Michigan.
That's awesome. That's all I got. You good?
Yeah, I think so, man. Coach Oden, man, thanks for popping on, man. It's always been a pleasure, man. I've always watched you from afar, man. Good luck. You got some fans over here on the west side now.
I appreciate you guys, man, and thanks for inviting me and allowing me to be a part of this. I appreciate it.
So as we record this on Saturday afternoon, the East Kentwood game has just gone final. They win at Howell 49-41. You were saying you thought there'd be more defense in this game.
I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a defensive struggle, obviously, because Coach Smith and Coach Brown and obviously Coach Spencer at East Kentwood with their defensive backgrounds right there. But again, credit to their offense, just finding a way to win. I mean, East Kentwood is a team that can beat you offensively, they can beat you defensively, and Ty Spencer's doing an unbelievable job. Just putting together a legitimate program there at East Kentwood, and boy, they're looking forward to a rematch next week because we all know how that one ended. What was that, week 7 against Hudsonville?
It was week 7 with the Hail Mary.
I mean, East Kentwood probably should have won the game. Probably.
Yeah. But they did. And now they get the rematch because Hudsonville beat Rockford 42-31.
What's that mean for the rematch? So what your formula? What's it mean for the rematch here?
It doesn't work anymore because I had Rockford beating Hudsonville because of my formula. Close game in the regular season, take the loser. And that's why I thought Rockford would beat Hudsonville last night. But Hudsonville is just so impressive, man. So impressive. And you probably feel like East Kentwood should have won the regular season game. I think it's going to be a great game, though. Hudsonville, East Kentwood regional final in D1. One of them's going to the semifinal.
The one thing I think we're going to have to look out for is the weather. I think the weather is going to play a big part in that game because I think Hudsonville, they could beat you with the run in the pass, but I think Hudsonville's run game is probably slightly better than Kentwood's at this point right here. And if the weather can take away Cade Kaufman, I think that's something we got to kind of look at. And I think I was looking at some projected weather. I think it's going to be okay, but it's going to be cold.
Man, Cade was good today. I think it's going to be another 43-42 type game. I think both offenses are playing at such a high level right now. And I know Hudsonville's really good on defense, and they do have the potential. But Cade's playing at a real high level. So let me ask you a psyche question. You're dealing with high school kids right here, so I'm probably reading way too much into this. But East Kentwood probably felt like they should have won the game and probably couldn't wait to get this game again, right? And how does that play into this, if at all?
Yeah, if your kids are true competitors, they're walking away upset, knowing though, and hopefully they feel like I can't wait to play these dudes again. And again, I wasn't at that game. I did get a chance to see some of it, and Cade Kaufman had an unbelievable performance in that one as well. But man, psychologically, if you've got some ballers on your team, like kids that absolutely love competing and love football, those kids from Kentwood got to have a chip on their shoulder, right? The competitive nature. They got to say, you know what, man, I want this game more than any other game because we're the one that did us, and we've got to get a victory in this one. So I think you're right.
Dude, these D1 regional finals are amazing. We have to at least touch on them, right? Catholic Central Clarkston, Saline Cass Tech, Rochester Adams Romeo. There is not you could pick any of the 4 to advance. None of it would surprise me. None of it.
No, but if we listen to Coach Oden, though, everyone's playing for second place with Cass Tech this year. But you look at that. I wouldn't be shocked if Saline, could pull an upset. I just think it's unbelievable. And look at the job. Romeo beat Dakota 56-3. Is that what the final was?
56-0.
Or 56-0.
Gosh, get on the bandwagon, baby. I've been driving that bus all year.
You have been on the Romeo bus. They're good.
Bulldogs. Can they beat Adams? We've been you and I've been high on Adams all year.
I know. The Division One's gonna be fun to watch. That's gonna be a great state championship game, regardless. And I know that Cass Tech is probably the favorite, but I just think that Division One football is at such a different level. I put all the Division One teams and quite honestly Harper Woods in that same conversation of how just some special football in the state of Michigan at a top level.
So some more Saturday finals that have trickled in. Montrose hammered Durand. So Montrose will be at Kent City. Both teams are undefeated. Montrose at Kent City in the regional final in D6. How about D4? Big Rapids goes all the way up to Escanaba. And no moonlight, but they won the game handily, 48-18. Big Rapids Unity Christian. I mean, we usually chalk these up to the OK Conference just dominates, but I'm not so sure this won't be a really good game.
I know, it's some of these teams, Big Rapids and Ludington, kind of coming out of those northern conferences and just saying, you know what, man, we're playing pretty good football as well. And so, I don't know, man. For whatever reason, I believe in Coach Tibby and Unity Christian. I mean, I just can't imagine a world in which Unity Christian is going to lose in this round to Big Rapids. But again, Big Rapids, they've been good before. I think it was in like 2002, 3, 4, somewhere around there that Big Rapids lost in the state semifinals to a really good Three Rivers team. I remember they had the two Samoan brothers, Nelly Asa. You remember Nelly Asa? And
I don't.
Oh my goodness, they were unbelievable. But they were really good football players, but they lost in the semifinals there. I remember that. So Big Rapids has always been decent, but like just to think that they're on the same level as Unity Christian right now, I don't know. People from Big Rapids will be upset with me, but I just feel like Unity Christian is going to be a favorite.
Well, let me just say this, couple things there. First, my guy Cole Heist, the quarterback at Big Rapids. He's a real deal, man. Now he's a basketball guy. He's really good at that sport, but he's the signal caller for Big Rapids, and he'll give them a chance. I think that's going to be a really fun game. You bring up the 04 state semifinal game, and think about Scott Shaw was the coach at Three Rivers, and Three Rivers won the game, and then beat DeWitt in the state championship game. I was at that. I was an intern at Fox 47 in Lansing that year. That might have been 03. It would have been 03. I apologize.
Okay.
03, yeah. And so I was there for Lansing TV covering the DeWitt side of it. And Rob Zimmerman, his first state runner-up, when Scott Shaw and Three Rivers won it all. Of course, Scott Shaw later comes to Granville and then Hope College. And now he's back at Niles. And I mean, they went 9-0 this year. They lost to Zelo West in the first round. But they've done some really good things. So the coach of Big Rapids in 03, do you know who the coach of Big Rapids was that year?
Phil Fortier.
Phil Fortier. Yeah. Do you know what Phil Fortier's doing now?
Well, is he the head coach at Shelby?
He's the head coach at Shelby, which is where I was last night. Shelby was at Harrison in a D7 district championship game. And Shelby won 30-16. Now, if anyone doesn't know the story with Shelby, Lorenzo Rodriguez was their coach, and Phil Fortier's been a long-time defensive coordinator there since he left. He did 1 year at Ferris after leaving Big Rapids. He's been the defensive coordinator at Shelby since 2008. Lorenzo Rodriguez, who's now the DB coach at Muskegon, love Coach Rodriguez. He's awesome. He took Shelby to the state semifinals in back-to-back years, 2012 and 2013. Since that 2013 state semifinal loss, they won 11 games in 11 years. 11 games in 11 years. They had a 7-year stretch from 2015 to 2021 where they were 2-59, 5 winless seasons. Last night they won a district championship. It's so cool, man.
Phil Fortier, he's the man. He's a legend. Fortier, he's the man. He is a good dude. He is a decent friend of mine. And man, you can't. It's hard to write a better story than that. Just kind of resurrecting a program from the dead and getting it going again, man. Cheers to him, man. That's good.
And so Shelby gets the very unenviable task of going to Menominee next weekend. Not only is it a very long trip, but the Maroons are really good. But hey, listen, Shelby's playing on house money. I don't think anyone expects to be here. They have an interesting story. They played a 2-quarterback system all year. They have a senior named Isaac Garcia and a junior who's really talented named Jalen Henderson. Garcia broke his hand in week 8, so he's now only playing safety on a club. So they've gone to Jalen Henderson, a quarterback who played really good last night. He's a talented kid as a junior. So they have 16 seniors. This is a small school with 16 seniors. Mostly play all seniors except for Jalen Henderson and a kid named Brody Fessenden, who plays running back and linebacker. He had 3 rushing touchdowns and over 200 yards last night on the ground. A couple 2-point conversions, a really good game on defense. Shelby that was a fun game to be at up there at Harrison, and the Tigers win the district championship. All right, so before we go, can I do a quick rankings here?
Let's go.
Hudsonville is clearly number 1 in West Michigan. Who's number 2?
Kentwood.
See, I think so too, but you keep raving about Portage Central.
I'm going Kentwood, man. Portage Central 3.
That's what I have as well.
That's what I think so.
That's what I have as well. So I'm going to keep Catholic Central in. So I think I went Rockford 4. Maybe I went Unity 5, West Catholic 6, Catholic Central 7, I believe. East Grand Rapids 8. And then it got interesting. What do you do at 9 and 10? You could just do it easy. No, that you can do easy, which is what most people will do, and just put Lowell and Zeeland West in because they're still alive. But I put Cedar and Lowell in. Because Cedar just took East right to the wire. I mean, that game could have went either way. They'd have kicked a field goal late to win. And I have East at 8. I've been way too hard on Zeeland West all year, and it hasn't been fair to them. And they're in the regional final. Who knows? They could be playing at Ford Field again. And probably will be the way my predictions have gone. But I went Cedar Springs 9. Is that crazy?
I don't know. Yeah, a little bit. I'm going Zeeland West.
Yeah. All right. Regional finals, man. We're getting down there.
Getting down to it.
All right. We'll see you next week. You and I got a call. We're on the radio together, right?
Let's go.
Yeah. 107 The Moose. We'll figure out where we're going to be. We got to figure out where these games are and what's happening, and we'll update as needed. All right. See ya.
All right. See you, brother.